Remove the idea, and then remove the idea of removing the idea. Instantly, when you remove something, it is replaced by something else. The actual removal is actually a replacement. The moment you make effort, the moment the mind appears, there is an exchange. There is an exchange in thoughts. There is an exchange in voices, in words. And something has changed. If you want to say remove the idea of politics, let's say someone says, let's get rid of politics. Mind says, how do we do that? What will we replace it with? And once we found a replacement, what action do we need to take to achieve this? Why not simply remove the idea that politics exists? The great sages, they chose to ignore this. But if you, the mind, if you think you're the mind of the person, if you ignore something, you're ignorant, you see? You're ignorant of the fact that it exists. This word ignorant is not a derogatory word. It is a word. You are ignorant of the fact. I don't know. But even if you try and remove the idea of politics, the moment you think about removing the idea, is itself an idea. You see? The moment you try and think of a way, or even address the thought of removing something, it is another idea. So the removal of something itself is a removal. Or an introduction. Both of these are the same as well. Removal and introduction is the same. I'm removing this by introducing the idea of moving it. You think you can say, yeah, if we remove it and have no replacement, that's okay. No, the actual idea of removing it is a replacement. The idea has replaced the removal. Too much for your mind, yeah? A group of enlightened masters are in this room. They are completely empty. They have completely disappeared. They're all in nirvana state. And the great master enters the room of this state, you see. Your mind says, oh, he must have woke them up. No, he enters the room of the same state. So now they're communicating in a different state. And he says, "What are you doing?" And they say, "Nothing. We're always doing nothing. We are nothing." And he says, "You cannot stay as nothing. I have a job for you. I have a job for you. I want you to remove politics, religion, science, creativity. I want you to remove all these that is holding back this beings on earth." "Oh, that's very easy," said the sages. And the master says, "How is that easy? We just remove the idea." "But how can you teach all these beings that these things actually don't exist? Because removing the idea means removing their existence." "Yeah, well, it's very simple." We tell them to remove the idea, and then remove the idea that they had of removing the idea. "And," said the master, and another one speaks. "And then we tell them to remove the idea, and the idea they had of removing the idea, and that idea of removing that idea that removed the first idea." "How long will this take?" said the master. "No time," said one of the sages. Time does not exist. So what are you going to replace time and this politics, religion, science, creativity? What are you going to replace it with? They all laughed. "We're not replacing it with anything. We're replacing it with nothing." "That's what I mean," said the master. "You're replacing it with nothing." This nothing also exists. And the sages look and, "Oh yeah. So we have to replace then nothing with what?" said the master. "What are you going to replace nothing with?" "It's impossible," said the sages. And the master says, "Very possible." "How do we do it? How do we do it then, Your Highness, you great master? How do we do it?" "You were doing it before I came into the room. You had no idea that politics existed, science existed, religion existed, creativity existed, time existed. You were doing it before you came into the room. Were you not?" "Oh yeah. Yes, of course we were." "So what is the secret?" The moment mind rises to address something, whether it's thought, mind, form, all variations of mind, this idea that someone came into the room and put a question before you. Even this did not exist. And Sage says, Master Sage says, so what was it before I came into the room? I don't know, we were in nirvana state, nothing, nothingness. Yes, another idea. Another idea. Even at nothing, to try and go beyond nothing is another idea. To try and stay beyond nothing, another idea. To try and disappear, another idea. You are the continuation of ideas. Wherever you go, you are there. Sometimes not knowing what you are. Sometimes not knowing where you are. Sometimes not knowing who you are. And sometimes simply not knowing. But all of these are also ideas. So you must go and teach these beings that enlightenment is not the end. Enlightenment isn't just another opening up, another idea that leads to the idea of bliss, the idea of emptiness, the idea of stillness, the idea of peace, the idea of freedom. All of these ideas are now new. But these ideas are great, said the sages. They are beautiful. Exactly. That is why your job is important. Now go to this earth and destroy the ideas of the things that's stopping this: politics, religion, science, and creativity. Your purpose now, your idea, is to let every being know they are infinitely, always, never not here. But to suffer this politics, religion, creativity, and science, to suffer not knowing the truth, that they are continually growing, continually moving, continually thoughts, continually love, changing as love, continually this greatest, never-ending idea. Namaste.